Did you know that a cheap flash can destroy your camera? Well, I learned this the hard way when a budget flash totally wrecked my Leica M11. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what happened and more importantly, how you can prevent this nightmare from happening to you as well. So stick around because it might just save your camera. The responsible party for this incident is the Godox Lux Junior, which I picked up for 70 bucks on Amazon last year. Now I'll be the first to tell you, I don't use flash very much. I got this flash because it's very small and I thought it would look cool on the Leica M11. And I thought maybe it would be useful if I wanted that point and shoot look. You know, something like this Canon Sure Shot that I have. Oh shoot, there's actually film in here. Portrait 800. Well, that just cost me $1. Let's turn that off. There you go. The Godox Lux Junior did a really good job of looking cool on the camera, but what I noticed the very first time I used it and subsequently the other times that I used it was that it was very tight on the hot shoe. In fact, there was a time where I completely unscrewed this all the way where it was completely loose and it still would not come off of my Leica M11 and I had to really work it to get it off. Well, it turns out that all of those times that this wasn't fitting well on the hot shoe, it was actually tearing it up. The Leica M11 hot shoe has a little metal top plate on it. That's what this is right here. This plate is secured in the back by these two tabs, and on the front top, it is secured by a little tab that goes in a little hole. And when you push this in, the pressure of the back and that tab keep it all tight and secure to the hot shoe. Why this plate is really important to your camera is that this plate is what provides pressure for your hot shoe accessories. You know, things like this thumb grip that I have on my M11 at all times. With that plate broken off of my hot shoe now, when I push the thumb grip in, it slides right off because there's nothing there to keep the pressure on the thumb grip or anything else that I put in the hot shoe now. Now I'm gonna share how I believed this happened because after evaluating the flash and the camera, I came to some conclusions. But before I do that, let me share with you about today's sponsor, Hollyland. The audio coming to you today has been from the Hollyland Lark M2, which includes this little case here, a small receiver for your camera, and two really tiny microphones. I'm actually wearing one right now. I thought this was a fitting video to talk about inexpensive gear because this mic set, two microphones and a receiver, and the charging case, which is USB-C, comes in at $125. If you were to compare that to some of its competitors, you're gonna see this is priced like insanely low compared to them. Now, what I appreciate the most about this mic set is how small it is. I don't like wearing big mics. I don't even like wearing a mic, period. So the more small and discreet you can make it, the better for me. I also appreciate that this literally took me zero effort. I just unboxed this thing, I put the receiver on the camera, and I clipped the mic to me, and all I did was make sure the level was good so it wasn't peaking. And I have a final thought just in a minute that relates to both the Godox and this set from Hollyland. But before we get to that, let me just finish telling you exactly how I believe this flash broke my Leica. Now, this flash has two pins on the bottom to help secure it to your hot shoe. All of these systems typically use pressure, and this has kind of two parts. It has these pressurized pins, and it also has the screws, so it has multiple ways of like really securing itself to your camera. But what I believed happened was that since these springs are poorly made and don't always unlock or lock, like right now, the first one is stuck in the down position. A minute ago, it was up. These things are super cheap and poorly made. And so when they went onto my Leica M11 and secured themselves to the hot shoe, they actually bent the pin that is on the front of the little plate that I showed you a minute ago. And when it bent that pin, it allowed the plate to slide out after the flash came out. The little tab that secures the M11's hot shoe plate to the camera is gone. It is broken off. And as I shared, now things cannot be secured to my Leica M11 hot shoe. I then found out that my good friend Scott has this same flash, and he actually had the same thing happen to his M11. And he sent his M11 to Leica in mid-July to get repaired, and it is now September and he does not have it back yet, which really sucks. So the moral of the story is this. If you are considering a piece of gear that is going to interface with your camera, don't cut corners and make sure you get something that is quality, that you've done the research on, that has been validated by the photography community, and just don't take risks with things that are going to interface with your camera. And inexpensive like this flash here doesn't necessarily mean bad, but if you decide to go the inexpensive route, you have to do your research and make sure you're getting something that is well made. Now, this Hollyland Lark M2 is not interfacing with my camera, so the risk to use something inexpensive like this feels fairly minimal. I mean, yes, it's currently sitting on a cold shoe on my A7S III cage, and it is plugged into the camera, but it's not actually talking to the camera, and it's not receiving info from the camera. It's not interfacing with the camera. It's just providing audio to the camera. So something that is inexpensive might actually be pretty decent, like I think this audio is today. But something like this flash, this $70 flash, this is inexpensive and it is poorly made. I would tell you pass on this. It's just not worth it. If you want a flash, just find something better. I hope you guys found this video to be helpful. Hopefully you're never gonna have to figure out a 60 to 90 day window to send your camera to get repaired. I don't have that kind of time right now, so I'm gonna have to wait, maybe after Christmas, who knows? I've got a very busy fall and winter. Or maybe I'll send it in and I'll just use my M11 monochrome for a bit.